I said this from the beginning, is like China needs a weaker dollar. They will agree tariffs in the end, whatever the negotiation is. They'll agree something because they need the weaker dollar because they need to roll their dollar debts. Everybody needs to export goods, and you need a weak dollar to have a stronger global economy. The US needs to export stuff. Everybody wants a weaker dollar, and the weaker dollar is the biggest stimulus you can get. So it kind of is all, for me, it's like it's setting up. And now it's about technicals and on-chain stuff and just trying to nail the timing because we've both identified it's like next 3 months for sure higher. There'll be
Yeah.
consolidations next 6 months, probably next 12 months. That's kind of how it feels. Pretty certain. Now, the question is,
President Trump has shaken the world with his new tariffs. Crypto is showing red on the charts, but the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq had its biggest drop since 2020. The world is shocked by the new tariffs, and no one knows where this is going. Many economists and talking heads are speculating from both sides of the aisle, all while the White House sent a message out to investors asking them to trust in Trump. President Trump himself said markets will boom after the tariffs take place. In an emergency live talk, macroeconomist Raoul gave his take on the tariffs and what he believes is coming in the next few months. Raoul believes a weak dollar will make for a strong market. And as President Trump's tariffs have taken effect, the dollar has weakened 2.5% against the euro. Raoul believes we are still heading toward the next leg of the banana zone, which essentially is alt season. While the future seems unstable with the new tariffs, Raoul's sentiment is positive. Let's listen to what Raoul has to say.
how I'm thinking about what's going on now is I know the talk is tariffs. I know it's all about what's happening today, what happened yesterday, what did Trump announce? But I go back to the framework that I've been using, which is liquidity. And the liquidity has led this whole price action by 3 months so perfectly. It's been sort of insane. And I'm just going to share a chart. This is from Global Macro Investor, just to kick us off on how I'm looking at this. Now, this doesn't have today's price action, but again, price action in Bitcoin is actually not that bad today. Not like the Nasdaq's getting nuked, and I'll talk about the Nasdaq in a sec as well. So, global M2 versus Bitcoin, either a 10-week lead or a 12-week lead, doesn't really matter. But basically, should be the bottoming zone. What is happening here is there's a reaction to the Trump headlines, yes, of course, but a lot of this was baked in the cake because of liquidity tightening by the rising dollar and rising rates last year. Now, you can see from the black line, which is forward looking 10 weeks, and this doesn't take into account the current move in the dollar and rates and oil, is actually financial conditions are easing really, really fast. The NASDAQ is all the same as well. You can see from the chart here, we're kind of in the bottoming zone. Forward, we've got global M2. And the financial conditions index is screaming higher, whilst the economic surprises index of how the economic activity is versus expectation should start raising too. So the growth shock has largely been put in the price. I think I've got somewhere here some of the charts of the growth shock itself. I'm just trying to flick through. So yes, that's the financial conditions index. Bitcoin, 3-month percentage rate of change, has actually priced in all of the tightening of financial conditions and should very soon start pricing in the other side, which is this financial conditions easing. Now, this will be much higher again because of the last few days. So for me, it's kind of expected. The other thing that I think is on the cards at some point soon is, I'm just going to share a chart here, is Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin has been dominant. It was dominant all up until this point in the prior cycles in 2017 and also in 21. It stays dominant much longer than everybody expects. And then it tops. And this is the monthly DMARC. And we put in a 13 top. And if I switch that to the daily now, we are getting very close to having a 913.9 top. That'll be 2 days away, which would match to me with the 913.13.9 on Solana as a bottom. There's a lot of things that are getting close to saying the liquidity cowbell is coming and the structure of the market may well change with it. and usher in the next phase. What I talk all about, the second phase of the banana zone, which is really often alt season starts at this point. And this is basically what I've always talked about when I talk about network activity and Metcalfe's law. This is a much more detailed way of establishing how vibrant is the network, how real is the activity, what's the longevity like, what's the growth like, because these are the things that drive price. We know that obviously global liquidity drives price, but the other thing is the network has to be valued. And network value is what drives the long-term secular trend above and beyond that of liquidity. This is the magic of why some cryptocurrencies do so well versus global liquidity. For example, we see that Bitcoin is almost like 8x the performance of the NASDAQ. And so the NASDAQ is 97.5% correlated to, or it has an R squared of 0.97 to global liquidity. And Bitcoin's 85. The reason it's 85 is because when you get to a bull market, it actually wildly outperforms because of this, which is the network adoption. And we've had 7 of these corrections since the bottom. And the last cycle, we had 5 in the last year of the cycle. Sorry, the one I look at a lot is 2017. We had 5 of them that were all like 30% plus. So if you listen to Trump and Bessent and everybody, they're like, first get the dollar down, get rates down, get oil down, get the tariffs done, get some tax revenues coming in from that, maybe give them out to some people, the bottom 50%, whatever it is that they do with this. And then it's about growth because they need the economy growing. And Bessent has been really clear about this, is like, we need Main Street to be making money again. And the issue has been rates have been too damn high. And they need to get the ISM through 50 and accelerating higher, which is the classic sign of the next phase of the cycle, which is when liquidity is really happening, the business cycle's happening, earnings get recycled, people start taking risk. That all lies ahead. But because the ISM is still bottoming, which is unbelievable, it's the longest bottoming pattern, I think, in the history of the ISM now, it kind of almost certainly pushes the cycle into 2026.
Yeah.
Which means we've got 12 months ahead of us. Because people, I think, mentally in their heads are like, oh, well, I want to start getting out by October because, and so they keep getting worried we're not going to make the price returns. But we've got a year to make price returns. And the last year of a bull market, we've often seen 2, 3, 4, 500% returns.
To watch the entire interview, check out the link in the description. What do you think of Raoul's thoughts here? What do you see coming with President Trump's tariffs? Leave a comment. If you found value in the content, hit the like button, as that greatly helps the channel find similar viewers like you. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest news and commentary on the markets. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. SIM swap fraud is sweeping the globe, and your mobile security is at risk. Switch to Ifani and lock out SIM swap fraud and get the most elite mobile protection in the world. Ifani guarantees 100% protection from SIM swaps backed by a $5 million insurance policy. Stay secure with reliable coverage, free international roaming, and unlimited data. Trust Ifani to keep your communications and assets secure. Get military-grade protection, 24/7 concierge service, and a hassle-free upgrade. Click the link below for $150 off. Thanks for watching. Help support this channel and receive exclusive offers from one of our partners located in the description. We'll see you on the next one.